Today's episode of Lions of Liberty contains a little bit of adult language and a whole lot of fun. So hide the kids, grab yourself a drink, and enjoy the show.
Trump's going to start a war. Hillary Clinton has started wars and will start wars. That's almost guaranteed. Trump's going to spy on you. Hillary Clinton would do the same. Trump's going to eat a baby. Hillary Clinton eats babies every day.
Welcome to the Lions of Liberty podcast. Here is your host, your guide, your shining beacon of liberty, Marc Clair.
Welcome on back, my Liberty lummoxes, to the Lions of Liberty podcast, your home, as always, for great conversations about the ideas of liberty. And we are going to have another fun one today because we're going to have another one of our classic roundtable discussions, a modern classic, if you will. In this, the 233rd episode of this program, which means that you can find the show notes for today featuring links to everything we discuss over at lionsofliberty.com/233. Today's show is sponsored by another great libertarian podcast, We Are Libertarians. If you enjoy this program, I guarantee you're going to enjoy what Chris Spangle and the team are doing over at We Are Libertarians. Check them out at wearelibertarians.com. All right, folks, and as I mentioned at the top of the show, we do indeed have another one of our roundtable discussions, and I'm actually going to do a quick check with everybody I've got on here to see if we're all drinking. If we can make this an official Libertarians in Living Rooms Drinking Liquor episode, I can attest that I'm currently drinking a lovely Angry Orchard hard cider, so that's nice. I also have on with me today, hailing from Pittsburgh, PA, Lions of Liberty co-founder, Felony Friday host, John Odermatt.
What's up, man? Great to be here for this roundtable.
All right, now I'm having a beer right now. Are you drinking over there?
I'm drinking some Yuengling, the official lager of Pennsylvania. I was on vacation last week at the beach. I probably had about 100 Yuenglings, so I had some left over. So having one more.
I do remember Yuengling from my Penn State days, and I'll make comments about that in a minute. I just want to bring on our other guest here first. So, of course, hailing from Leesburg, Virginia, in many ways known as the Godfather of Lions of Liberty, being the one who first introduced me to libertarian ideas, Mr. Howie Snowdon.
Hey, Mark, I am here in Virginia, but I am a true Pennsylvanian. I, too, am drinking Yuengling tonight.
You're both drinking Yuenglings. Okay, well, maybe we can start off discussing this, because honestly, I have always thought Yuengling was a very overrated and overhyped beer. Now, I didn't grow up in Pennsylvania, so I wasn't drinking this, like, at parties in high school, in, like, parents' basements and stuff like that. I didn't discover it till I came out there for college, where, of course, listeners of this program will know we all met at Penn State University. Yeah, it tastes like, I don't even know how to describe it. Not good.
And Mark, we didn't drink beer that's good at parties at Penn State either. It was like Natty Ice or like East.
Gold. What was the one? It was like Gold Crown.
Gold Crown was the worst.
Oh man, that literally was someone drank Yuengling and then pissed in cans, and then that was Gold Crown.
American was pretty bad. We used to always get American Ice too. It was like chunky. It was so bad.
Chunky. Rule number one with your beer: you do not want it to be chunky. For all the newbies out there, for all the kids out there who haven't started drinking beer yet, if it's chunky, please throw it out. Please cease your drinking immediately.
Are you drinking out of a bottle or a can?
I'm drinking out of a bottle.
I'm drinking out of a can.
See, with Yuengling, it's important because Yuengling uses green bottles. So if it get any sunlight at all around the Yuengling, the beer gets skunked. So yeah, mine's out of a can as well. That's the best way to drink Yuengling.
So I don't want my trash to sound like I'm an alcoholic with all the bottles rattling.
Maybe some of my worst experiences with Yuengling were then due to that. Maybe it was a slightly skunked beer, because Lord knows there were probably cases of beer laying around fully exposed to sunlight without anybody thinking twice about it back in our day.
Probably, yeah.
All right, well, I guess we can segue from the beer talk towards, heck, I don't know. That's the great thing about these episodes. We don't plan anything. So what's on your mind, guys? I'll let either of you take the floor here.
Can we talk about how awful Hillary Clinton is? I don't know.
I don't think anyone in our audience is going to be familiar with some of these arguments, so sure. Okay, I'll let you start, but I have obviously my own thoughts. Obviously, we all know Hillary Clinton's awful, but there's just some other stuff that's been going on, both at the DNC and at the, call it the Facebook level, the social media level, that's been driving me crazy, but I'll let you take first reign here.
It's probably the same thing that's driving me crazy as well. It's all these people on Facebook. It seems like 75% of my Facebook friends are 100% anti-Trump, which is fine. but all of their criticisms of Trump could equally easily be applied to Hillary Clinton. Trump's going to start a war. Hillary Clinton has started wars and will start wars. That's almost guaranteed. Trump's going to spy on you. Hillary Clinton would do the same. Trump's going to eat a baby. Hillary Clinton eats babies every day. So it drives me absolutely bonkers, this Hillary Clinton stuff. And on top of it all, with the stuff with the DNC leak that happened last week, and the DNC immediately pivoted and blamed Russia for it. And Hillary Clinton, without batting an eyelash, says, well, we can't have a presidential candidate Donald Trump can't be president because he's asking Russia to uncover secrets. It can manipulate the election. It can manipulate democracy, which is exactly what the DNC was doing to give Hillary the nomination.
Somebody compared that argument to like when someone gets caught cheating because they get text message on their phone and their girlfriend sees it or something. It's not how you found out. It's what you did. It doesn't matter if Russia hacked the DNC. It's what those emails said. And Russia didn't write the emails.
Can we start off with the fact that there's just no evidence for this Russia conspiracy theory either? I mean, maybe it's Russia. I don't know, but we don't know that. We just know WikiLeaks has these emails and has released them, and they're doing everything in their power to focus the attention on who might have leaked them, why they were leaked. Is Russia secretly trying to elect Donald Trump president? Maybe. I don't know. Him and Putin seem to get along, so maybe they would prefer Donald Trump as opposed to Hillary Clinton, who's been actively encouraging expansion near Russia's borders, actively basically trying to instigate with Russia. So I wouldn't be surprised if Vladimir Putin would rather have Donald Trump as president. But it's like you said, Howie, and I saw that analogy somewhere too, so I apologize to whoever made it that we're not crediting for it. But the way the evidence is found is a small part of it, and maybe there's something wrong there. But if my girlfriend sees on my phone me texting sexually explicit things with another woman, it's a really dumb defense of me to just be like, well, why are you looking at my phone? It's maybe she shouldn't be, but what I'm doing is a lot worse. I'm not doing this, by the way, to be clear. What I would hypothetically be doing in that case would be obviously much, much worse. And it's exactly the same thing with the DNC here. They're just flailing their arms about people stealing their emails, people hacking them, in no way addressing the actual content of these emails. It's just mind-boggling.
I didn't get to watch it either, so I don't know if there's any validity to it. But I did scroll by a YouTube video today that was claiming that it was the NSA that hacked the DNC. That would be awesome if that's true.
I mean, yeah, finally the NSA spying could be used as a force for good. That would be wonderful. But I don't know. I mean, there's so much in these emails, and that's only a portion of what I've seen. I mean, I'm sure there's just so much in there. I think one of the things that struck me is the very blatant racism in the Democratic Party, the party that pretends to be this all-inclusive party that cares so much about cultural diversity. They're straight up calling their Hispanic constituents the Taco Bowl vote. And admitting that they need to craft their messages to manipulate these people to vote for them. There's references to Jews in there and the Jew vote. I mean, this is your all-inclusive Democratic Party, and we're supposed to be so afraid of Donald Trump's possible racism when we have actual racism documented within the highest ranks of the Democratic National Committee. Give me a freaking break. I cannot handle it. And I'm okay if people criticize Donald Trump for a lot of the things he said, and a lot of the things he could potentially do. I'm totally on board with that. But if you make that argument and then turn around and say, therefore we have to vote for Hillary Clinton, you have zero credibility to me, because every bad thing you think Donald Trump might do, just like Odie was saying, up to and including eating a baby, Hillary Clinton has literally done, short of the baby eating, but it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me.
The Green Party's candidate Jill Stein has pointed this out too, like all these things.
She had a baby?
No, all these things that you're afraid that Trump is saying, Hillary's done them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and frankly, can we just talk about this racism thing again? Because I have a lot of criticisms of Donald Trump. A lot of them are because he's basically a progressive that's a Republican. I mean, he supports a lot of progressive policies. Also, his remarks about torture are very troubling. But I have never heard Donald Trump say something that's actually racist. I literally haven't. I've heard him suggest building a wall to keep out Mexicans that might be committing crimes in his view. I don't agree with this statement whatsoever. But Mexican's not a race, people. There's white people that are Mexican. There are Hispanic people who are Mexican. Mexican's not a race, and I've never heard Donald Trump say something racist. I'm not saying he's not. Maybe he is. People say his grandfather was in the KKK, and I don't know anything about that. Maybe he was, but if we're looking at actual statements, the DNC is making literal racist statements, and I've never seen an actually racist statement made by Donald Trump. I've seen him say things I don't agree with, things I don't like, but not a racist statement. Am I wrong here?
No, you're right. And if he's talking about some Mexican immigrants that he thinks are causing crimes, he's not talking about the whole nation either. I don't know. There are
illegal immigrants that come here and cause crimes.
To me, racist means you think that one race is better than another for some reason or another, and I don't think that is the case. I don't know.
I mean, I
don't support Trump.
But
I think he says a lot of dumb things. Like, I guess the big thing recently that he hasn't been able to shake is when he was talking about the parents of the Muslim soldier that had died. And I mean, that's another thing where I don't agree with what he said, but the whole thing boggles my mind how it's dragging him down. But the facts are, if it wasn't for people like Hillary Clinton, their son wouldn't be dead. Like,
exactly. And is it really driving him down? I don't know if it is. I mean, the media keeps harping on it, but I'm not sure if it's actually affecting, I don't think people are jumping off the Trump train, as they call it, saying they're going to vote for Hillary now because of this.
Yeah. I mean, this thing with the con guy, I mean, I don't want to attack the guy. I mean, I'm sure the guy is very distraught over the death of his son, rightfully so. But the fact that the DNC is propping this guy up, and that he's allowing himself to be propped up because he is being used as a political tool, at a convention that is nominating Hillary Clinton, who is a vocal supporter of the war, the Iraq war that killed his son, voted for it, supported other wars since then, has, by all evidence that's become available recently, supported coups in Syria, supported coups in Libya, and has helped to literally arm ISIS. And yet, this is the person that you're going to stand next to and say, and literally there's delegates chanting, no more wars, while Hillary Clinton, one of the most well-documented supporters of wars abroad in history, is up there. It's absolutely mind-blowing, and I have to think that there's just a lot of good people that just, I don't know if they're just ignorant of this very, very available information, or they just have a willful disconnect because they perceive Donald Trump as being so much worse that they religiously have to cling, like Obama said about people clinging to their guns and their religion. These people have to cling to Hillary Clinton as their savior because they don't know where else to turn. And maybe Gary Johnson and his 73% I side with Bernie isn't convincing them.
Well, the media is totally swaying people's views too. If the RNC had gone the way the DNC did, with all the boos and the protests and like everything about all the corruption coming out during it, we would never hear the end of it.
Did you guys know there were riots at the DNC?
Yeah, this all gets glossed over because people don't like what Trump said about these parents of this soldier. This other awful shit about Hillary, they just brush it aside every time.
Yeah, I mean, I saw some disturbing things at the RNC, plenty of police state promotion, plenty of warmongering, policy suggestions that scare the crap out of me. And that first day there was some, a little bit of tension with the Never Trump people, but that died down pretty quickly. Meanwhile, the DNC, from all accounts, was hectic as all hell. The Bernie people were booing Hillary. Bernie himself got booed at one point when he emphasized that you need to vote for Hillary. I've seen reports that they replaced Bernie delegates with other people in seats. There's just so much that has come out. But I don't watch the mainstream media at all, so it's sometimes hard for me to discern what makes it to my Facebook feed and how that compares to what a lot of other people are seeing on, CNN and MSNBC, because I really avoid that stuff as much as possible. But it does seem like the reporting of these two events is extremely skewed.
And I don't see how they're going to convince these Bernie or bus supporters that Hillary is lesser of two evils. If you give it any kind of decent scrutiny, I can't think of anyone who's run for president more evil than her.
I see a lot. Yeah, go ahead, Odie.
I think the difference is, what really propelled Barack Obama to winning, and 2008 and 2012, especially 2008, was there were so many people that were passionate about his campaign, hope and change and all that crap, that they went and recruited other people. They brought their families to vote for Barack Obama. They brought their, friends, neighbors, whoever. They, drove buses to get people to the polls. People aren't going to do that for Hillary Clinton. People who are voting for Hillary Clinton most of them are holding their nose while they do it because they're doing it to justify that they're keeping Trump out of office. You're not going to have people actively going out campaigning. I mean, you have some, but you're not going to have a lot of people. You're not going to have people getting motivated to volunteer to campaign for Hillary Clinton. So that's why I think that Donald Trump will still win. Maybe it won't be a landslide, but I think that he just has more, like you said, there's lots of fear with the Donald Trump presidency, but you cannot doubt that he has tapped into just an element of just the irate and distrust of the government, that he's really tapped into that. And I think that people like that are going to do more to bring voters out than the Hillary people.
Yeah, it's really hard to say how this is all going to play out because I see two kinds of ex-Bernie bros, I guess. I see some people that are still saying, we will not support Hillary. And actually, a lot of them are turning to Gary Johnson. I've seen some amount of that. I've also seen, this is really a funny thing to me. I've seen, it's really interesting, the different ways that libertarians perceive things as opposed to, people of really any other political ilk. But I guess especially progressives, because I do see a lot of people talking about Gary Johnson that are Hillary people or formerly Bernie people that are saying, God, I guess we're gonna have to vote for Hillary because I guess I like a lot of things Gary Johnson says, but when you actually look at his economic plans, he's an extreme libertarian, and I'm just thinking like man, if only libertarians thought he was an extreme libertarian, because libertarians don't think he's extreme enough or extreme at all, or perhaps even a libertarian at all, depending on who you talk to. So it's just really interesting the perspectives that people can have about the same person depending on what their kind of preconceived political views are.
I kind of think of a libertarian as someone who believes in libertarian philosophy that, you own your body, your mind, your skills, the fruits of your labor, and, it's yours to do with as you want as long as you don't hurt anyone else. Gary Johnson does not believe that. If that's what we're judging, I would say he's not libertarian. But pragmatically, just on issues, what works best, he almost always falls on the libertarian side of most issues, which, I mean, I don't think he has our core philosophy, but practically, and for those reasons to him, he usually ends up siding with us. I mean, because logically, we are usually right. And it's just, I kind of feel like I've been giving him too hard of a time, because even though I think his fundamental philosophy is flawed, we're together on so many issues. And if he were the president, he's so much better than Trump, so much better than Clinton. I think he would even be the greatest president we've had in my lifetime if he were ever elected. So I'm going to try it.
Even with Darth Weld pulling strings behind him?
I mean, Weld is worse than him. But still, if you think about even the things that we dislike about them, it's not like they're going to get into office and those are the things they're focused on that we hate most, that they're going to be. Like, he's got to be sending the bake the cake brigades out, to all the bakers, making sure, that's not going to happen.
Gary's Cake Brigade.
I mean, I don't think there's a chance of it happening, but if he were president, it would be a great thing for America.
Yeah, I really go back and forth on Gary because I agree with everything you said. On actual issues, on his record, he's just so much better than the other two in reality. And, I have a lot of respect for him because back in 1999, he was really, as far as I know, maybe the only governor to come out fully in support of legal marijuana. And that actually hurt his poll numbers. It actually hurt him with his constituency. And he later was able to recover from that. But it wasn't a position he had to take at all. There's no really political benefit for him to take that position, especially in 1999. It's a much safer view to take now. So I have a tremendous amount of respect.
He really likes marijuana, though.
He loves marijuana. I think that's the thing. He's pro-marijuana because he loves marijuana, not because he's 100% in favor of, making drugs legal, which is actually explicitly stated by them that we, while we are explicitly in favor of marijuana being legal, we do not take that position on any other drugs. Now, I get it. It's not politically palatable to say, make heroin legal, make cocaine legal, but it's the same principle, and that's where I start to have issues because I'm trying to convey principles here, and then they agree with the principle for one specific plant, but then not other ones.
I completely agree, but I would love to see that one step taken to see marijuana legalized across the whole country.
Of course,
Just a first step in the right direction. I don't expect to, after the election, like all drugs be legal and the war on drugs is so devastating be ended. But I want to see progress in that direction. And if someone like Gary Johnson could get in and do that for marijuana, that's the first step. Maybe we can get a more libertarian person next time, and we can, tout how well making this change in marijuana worked, and get people to apply that to, widen their scope and see the whole drug war is causing so much craziness.
Right. And I think, Gary, that we're going to see marijuana legalization basically in the whole country in our lifetime, regardless of who becomes president, regardless of if it's Gary Johnson maybe pushing it along further. I think that's actually a very unrealistic idea to think he could actually become president. But I mean, I think this is going to occur at the state level, and it's really just going to be about when the federal government gives up. And there's a lot of indications that they already are.
Did you guys know that both Pence and Kaine are like strongly against it, though?
And Kaine. I guess the Kaine part's a little more surprising. I'm not surprised about Pence, because our good friend Chris Spangle on our last roundtable was telling us all about Mr. Pence and his drug warrior history. So that doesn't surprise me. But Trump has gone back and forth. Right now, he was said let the states decide, and he said no, and now he's I think now he's on the let the states decide side again, which I think it should be made legal over the country because it's right, but that letting the states decide is better than what we got today. I guess that's something else that troubles me about Trump is that, like, you just don't know who he is. You don't know. I mean, he's such a chameleon. He takes so many different positions that conflict each other. And while in many ways he seems like he could be less bad than Hillary, at least on foreign policy, possibly, he could also be the worst president of all time. Like, I just don't know what to expect from this guy. It is a big gamble. And with Hillary, it's almost like comforting that I know that what she is. It's like, okay, she becomes president. I know what's happening. There's going to be some wars I don't like, but at least like the president is sort of restrained by Congress. I mean, Bill Clinton worked with Congress to pass legislation. He wasn't a dictator, whereas, I don't know, maybe Trump would just start ordering people around. But I mean, either way, the president can't really be a dictator unless there are other branches of government also decide to allow him to be a dictator. So, I mean, our system is set up this way for a reason. It's not perfect. It's not an anarcho-capitalist paradise that a lot of our listeners would want, but it's better than if we had a president with unlimited power or some of the many other systems of government that are out there.
Can you think of
just
anything?
If we could pivot back to talking about marijuana for a second.
I always want to pivot back to marijuana.
I think maybe we've talked about it on past roundtables, but there's been a rumor, and I guess it didn't happen because people were saying it was going to happen on August 1st, that Obama was going to change the scheduling from Schedule 1 to Schedule 2 for marijuana, which would essentially
not Obama, it's
decriminalize it. But
it's not Obama, it's the DEA, and they've delayed their recommendation. So
it would be the DEA, which I don't know what you guys think about this, but I think it would be a terrible move for the marijuana legalization movement, decriminalization movement overall, because essentially to me what it looks like is they're just handing over control to pharmaceutical companies. That at that point, when it's rescheduled, when it's changed to Schedule 2, there's more testing that can be done. The rules are more laxed on the I guess the FDA rules, I guess they would be. So essentially,
if it were Schedule 2, doctors across the whole country could prescribe it to any patients.
Yeah,
right.
It's kind of a catch-22. It's a difficult situation. That's the real hard thing with all these legalization schemes, because almost every one of them includes a catch or several catches. And in this case, yes, definitely positive in a sense to reduce the scope of what's allowed with marijuana, or reduce the scope of what the government would prevent its use. Once it's Schedule 2, then pharmaceutical companies can start to make it, but that's the problem. Now it's all through the FDA, and the FDA can say, okay, this marijuana is approved, but not not Johnny growing it in his field. It's got to be from Merck marijuana or whatever. And now suddenly we've cartelized this whole now legal industry and gone backwards in a sense as well by putting it in the hands of the few and taking it away from the right of the people to grow this plant, this naturally occurring plant that anybody should be allowed to grow without being assaulted.
And if they do it like that, it's not going to stop the black markets or violence that's associated with black markets. If it's only sold by Merck and it's super expensive and it's, but anyone can grow it, there's still going to be all those problems. unless it's fully legalized, there's going to be issues.
Either way, Gary's going to be smoking and eating his edibles after he gets off the campaign trail.
I hope he has better answers for the drug war coming up in the Libertarian Town Hall CNN's doing again. He was terrible on this in the last one. I hope to God you would think a Libertarian would have a good answer for this line of questioning.
That's right. And when many of our listeners are going to be listening to this on the day it airs, that town hall will be taking place tonight. If you're listening on Wednesday, if you're listening after Wednesday, it's already occurred. So maybe you have thoughts on it. But either way, you can tune back into the Lions of Liberty podcast this coming Monday because Brian McWilliams will be bringing you another edition of Gary Johnson's Neighborhood, Mr. Johnson's Neighborhood, I should say. And they will be taking a look at that town hall. So tune in for that, my friends. Now, what else is going on? Anything? Any other things we want to talk about with marijuana, or should we head back to this Hillary Trump situation? Because I was talking about Howie, not about Howie. I was talking with Howie just before the show, and I don't know. Part of me, the conspiracy theorist in me, has some thoughts about what's going on here. Are you interested to hear my theories, Odie? You weren't on the call yet.
Absolutely.
Okay, so there is obviously this rumor has been out from the beginning. I mean, it's been basically public knowledge that Bill Clinton encouraged Donald Trump to run for president. Seems a little odd. It's well known that Hillary and Donald Trump have been associated in the past. There's all pictures of them out there at the wedding together. They are both kind of proteges of Tony Robbins and his methods of communication. So there's a connection between these two. So that on its own does lend some credence to the theory that has been there since day one, that Trump was there to destroy the Republican Party and then just flop the race and leave a smooth path for Hillary going forward. There's a decent amount of circumstantial evidence that could be possible, I think, at this point, especially with just all the things that Trump says and a lot of the positions he takes. And I mean, going after this con guy, I mean, I don't see how it's good in any way for him, but maybe it is good for him, just the way he operates with a portion of his constituency. So what do I know? And then we have the Gary Johnson campaign. And suddenly you see Gary Johnson and Bill Weld on the last town hall calling Hillary Clinton a respected, an excellent public servant. And you hear Bill Weld talking about how he goes way back with Hillary Clinton and oh, that rascally kid, he pats her on the head and she's just a good kid, that one. So we've got Bill Weld, who is admittedly a lifelong friend of Hillary Clinton, who has found his way into the Libertarian Party. We have Donald Trump, who is a known associate of the Clintons, who has taken over the Republican Party. So have all parties, besides maybe the Green Party, been co-opted by the Hillary people? That's a question that I am still not sure of.
Did any of Bernie's staff switch over to Hillary? What do you think? Was there a Bernie plant in any of or a Hillary plant in the Sanders campaign?
Part of me thinks that Bernie was always a plant to rally progressives that would otherwise have a lot of questions about Hillary, to get them excited about activism, get them excited about politics again, give them something to believe in, and then poop all over them and send them right into the Hillary camp. Now, maybe that's a little bit more of a conspiracy. I mean, I will say Bernie did seem to believe a lot of what he said, but that's the result. Whether or not it was a conspiracy, that is how it turned out. So whether it's a pre-planned thing or whether it's just the nature of politics, I mean, that's the end result, guys.
Maybe they thought he'd energize the youth, but then they'd still be able to get them on their side. But maybe there's a chance that he opened a Pandora's box that it can't be closed, and they'll never be able to get those people.
Is it a Pandora's box of socialism? Because I'm not sure that's a box we want to open.
Well, maybe not that, but the fact that everybody sees how corrupt the system is now and how, like, the two parties, Republicans, Democrats, it doesn't matter. It's corrupt and it's awful. They don't have America's best interests at heart. I think people are waking up and they're not going to be able to get away with the stuff that's been going on for, our whole lives for very much longer. I think the whole game is going to change in our lifetimes because too many people are too well informed. We have podcasts, internet for news. We don't have to listen to CNN or ABC, what they tell us is happening. I think too many people are waking up, and no matter who wins, this election is going to be awful, but I don't think this crap is going to go on much longer.
Odie, what do you think about my conspiracy theory?
I'm just not big on conspiracy theories.
I know, but we're having fun here.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I
not
guess
saying
my
I
point
literally
is,
believe it, but there's a lot of evidence out there that it could possibly be something weird going on. That's all I'm saying.
I just think that, people aren't that smart to do conspiracies. There's so much incompetence out there. I think if anything, Donald Trump getting so much momentum and winning the Republican nomination, a lot of it was just dumb luck, good timing. On top of that, with his superior manipulation skills, I really don't think there's anything nefarious in it. I don't think that he's doing it to get Hillary the nomination or anything like that. And like I said, I'm going to stick to it. I still do think that Trump is going to win.
Yeah, I'm with you. The only way I don't think he wins is if my conspiracy theory is true, because then he'll tank. I guess, again, we're gonna just steal a lot of ideas from people and not credit them. But I saw somebody mention this, and it could kind of be like a movie. I mean, this would make an amazing movie if it were true. If this did start out that way, where they said, "All right, Donald, you're going to go into the Republican Party and just cause havoc in there." Maybe even win the nomination if that's crazy enough to happen. Although we doubt that'll happen. But just destroy the party. Do as much to besmirch the Republicans as possible, and that's the plan. And Donald, for whatever reason, has promised some stupid ambassadorship or something, and he agrees to it. But then he starts going out and saying crazy stuff, thinking it's going to have this effect of besmirching Republicans. And unbeknownst to him, he starts winning, and he starts winning primaries, and before he knows it, he's a Republican nominee, and now he says, well, I don't need to go along with that plan. I can be president now. I don't need her. And obviously she could never call him out. You can't say, hey, we had an agreement. I mean, because that ends your, ends your credibility altogether. So, I mean, again, I don't necessarily actually believe this, to be clear to my audience, but these are the kind of thoughts that I think about when I got nothing to do but think about liberty for a day or so.
Yeah, I don't know. I still have trouble buying into that, or not buying into it. I'm not saying that you're buying into it, Mark. You said that's a conspiracy theory that you think's out there. But yeah, I just don't see it. I don't see, like what would be, there would have to be something really significantly offered to entice Trump just to enter the GOP race for the only positive outcome of getting what would he get from it? So it's hard to even figure out what would motivate him to get it in the first place, if not to actually, not to actually win the presidency. Of course, maybe, I guess I'll toss out a conspiracy if we're talking about conspiracies, because I've heard other people talk about this. Once again, I won't attribute it to anyone because I have no idea who said it. But, people have said, and I don't agree with this, people have said that Trump only got in because he wanted to, work on getting his name out there again to start his own news network. And this was a way to, build contacts, build his brand, build his network, so he could launch
a political force to be, taken seriously, a la like a Glenn Beck type thing. Right. And
start something like that, which I haven't seen anything else other than just wild speculation.
That is a more plausible theory, I think, because then you could at least see Trump's motivation to get involved in politics. Either way, I mean, there's been reports that Trump did start this not thinking he would really win, per se. But I think at some point when he started actually winning and when his poll numbers never dropped, he might have realized, oh my God, I can actually do this. And all these things I've been saying are working. So I'm just going to double down and keep saying crazy stuff and keep with my bold strategy of just using rhetoric to kind of turn the media in a whirlwind and drive all this attention to me because it worked in the primaries. So why wouldn't it work now? And a lot of people brush this off as, well, that's the Republican base and they're crazy. But Howie actually pointed something out to me the other day that I didn't know before. So Howie, why don't you tell us about the interesting statistic about Donald Trump's GOP primary votes?
I don't know if people are aware of it because the media makes it sound like, oh, he's barely winning. But Donald Trump has gotten more primary votes from Republicans than any Republican candidate ever.
And more than Ronald Reagan.
He's gotten the most Republican primary votes ever. I think a lot of times when we think Trump's doing bad or it's just the establishment doesn't like him and the media doesn't like him and they portray it like he's struggling, but he's got a lot of support. If he can get over some of the stuff that's going on now, which I don't see why it would stick. The only reason is because he seems to not ever let anything go. And if he could just ignore some of the attacks against him, sometimes it'd be over faster. But I think that Trump's going to win. I think he's got a lot of support. I don't think anything the media says is going to change people's minds that are backing him already.
And it seems like every attack on Trump, like we've said this before, it reinforces his narrative. His narrative is that the media is corrupt, that the media has it in the bag for Hillary, and the media is out to get him. And every time they attack him, they're saying, yep, everything he's saying is right. So anybody that already believes that and already started to maybe even consider supporting him because he's anti-establishment or perceived as anti-establishment, all this does is reinforce that. And I mean, we can talk about this thing with the New York Post releasing these nude photos of Melania Trump, and it's supposed to damage Trump. This reeks of Donald Trump masterstroke. And this clearly helps Donald Trump in so many ways. It subconsciously helps him with like men. It just does. Machismo men that see Donald Trump with this beautiful, gorgeous woman, it makes them like Trump more. It does. I mean, maybe not consciously, but subconsciously, it's just a human nature thing. A lot of men are going to kind of think Trump is a more powerful, more masculine type guy. And then on the total flip side of this, I mean, they're slut-shaming this person, and that actually helps him with, like, feminists, people that might feel sympathy towards this now. The fact that they're plastering these photos out there. I mean, if you're a feminist, I think if you're a feminist and support Hillary Clinton because she's a woman, stop calling yourself a feminist. You're actually an anti-feminist if you do that, because if you're actually supporting someone only because of their gender while ignoring their policies, in the case of Hillary Clinton, I think she's very anti-female in many of her policies, because, females die in wars, too. Females are dying in wars in Syria. She's helped arm ISIS. What is more anti-female than ISIS? She is a close ally of Saudi Arabia. What country is more anti-female than Saudi Arabia where women are not allowed to drive, where women have no rights whatsoever? I mean, these are the people that Hillary Clinton is associated with. She is a non-feminist. She is an anti-feminist. So any woman out there that says, I'm with her, and it's because she's a woman, go away. Why are you allowed to vote? I mean, it's absolutely absurd. You should know the basics about what your candidate supports if you're going to be. I'm not really saying we should remove the rights of vote to people, but sometimes I wonder if we need a little bit of a higher bar to be passed before you do.
The Democratic Party has much better women to offer than Hillary Clinton, too. I don't know if you guys saw, she's from Hawaii. I believe her name is Tulsi Gabbard. I don't know if that's right. But she was the one who nominated Bernie Sanders at the convention. She's a veteran that she left the DNC because she preferred Sanders and she felt because she couldn't be impartial. She wasn't going to be corrupt like Debbie Wasserman Schultz and I guess everybody else. So she left her position, backed Bernie, and she did that because as a veteran and how hawkish Hillary was, she said, there's no way I could support this foreign policy. Bernie is my choice. She just could not follow someone like Hillary.
And even Bernie's like, no, go vote for Hillary. Don't worry about me. But she's like, no, I'm nominating you anyway, motherfucker.
Yeah, he's a sellout. But I mean, if you want a woman, I mean, I don't agree with Tulsi and, Democratic policies, but there are much better Democratic women you could get behind. Like, Hillary's the worst. I don't understand people that don't see it. I understand all the Donald Trump hate and I accept it, but not if you're at the same time saying that there's nothing wrong with Hillary.
Yeah.
They're both
anybody
terrible.
that is so upset about Trump that they must support Hillary has just zero credibility to me, because it means you are not doing even a cursory analysis of the actual candidates that we're talking about here.
Yeah, well, to be fair, there is the same thing coming back from the Trump people. I mean, I know a lot of people who
I guess I look at it different because I don't actually know Trump people, whereas I live here in California and Los Angeles. I only know Hillary people. I don't know a single Trump person, so you might have a different... if you don't mind, you don't need to name names, but I know you mentioned that after your family vacation recently, you're pretty sure most of your family was going to vote for Trump. And
it's not even like, it's not even just my family. It's a lot of people I know. I mean, I can't even count the number of people I know that said they're going to vote for Donald Trump. It's actually probably equal to Hillary Clinton. It's probably pretty split.
So is it because they are pro-Trumpsters, or are they just like they hate Hillary so much that?
No, yeah, they are definitely not pro-Trump. I mean, I've had conversations with a lot of these people that they'll have the same concerns that I do about torture, about how Trump wants to run the economy like a dictator, how he wants to impose tariffs, how he could raise taxes, how he's talked about universal health care. They'll say all those things. Say, I agree. I agree. All that stuff is scary. It could be bad. It could be real bad. but we can't have Hillary Clinton in office.
Did you guys think that what if Trump does end up winning, becomes like an awful dictator? Don't you want him to know we supported him? I don't want to be taken off to some camp. Maybe I need to get my name on the support Trump bandwagon.
You can wear like a little DT badge on like armband.
I got news for you, Howie. Well, you're already on this podcast saying some disparaging things about Trump, so I think you might be in trouble.
Yeah, I hate
Do you think Trump listens to podcasts? I don't know. He doesn't use email. He does use Twitter.
The Lions of Liberty podcast. It's a fantastic program. Absolutely wonderful. These are wonderful guys. The libertarians, I don't agree with all of them, but they're wonderful people. I'm happy to have them supporting my campaign. Oh, they're not supporting it? Oh, all right. That's my.
That sounds like Bernie Sanders like impersonating Donald Trump.
I was just thinking that towards the end. I was like, man, my Trump is really starting to merge with my Bernie. Maybe I should go back and stick to my Alex Jones.
I'd like to ask our listeners, please don't retweet any of my anti-Trump comments. I don't want any repercussions once his regime takes over.
Yeah, I don't know if the lack of retweets is what's going to save you. If
I'll tell you what, I'm a lot more scared of repercussions from Hillary than from Trump. I think she has a lot longer kill list.
And you know what? In a way, because people see Trump as like this potential dictator, I kind of feel like maybe the American people will watch over him more. They'll be a little more of a watchdog. Congress might restrain him a little more. I mean, I think every move he makes will be so closely looked at, whereas we already know the Clintons can get away with anything. I mean, look at all the bad stuff Bill Clinton did, and he's still hailed as one of our greatest presidents of all time because, lucky for him, the .com boom happened to come around.
Yeah, I mean, it's blatant. Hillary Clinton just doesn't even try to hide it anymore. After that DNC leak, obviously, Debbie Wasserman Schultz resigns. Literally hours later, she's working on Clinton campaign.
Did you see the CEO of the DNC resigned today? I don't know if has Hillary hired her yet too?
I'm sure she will, probably. I don't see why not.
I think if you resign for any kind of scandal, you immediately get, with that resignation, you send in the resignation, and then someone else at the same time, in the other hand, is handing you your offer letter from the Clinton campaign.
Say, she'll fit right in. Hire her.
She's got upper management written all over her, this one. Do you think Bill Weld is going to work in the Clinton administration? That's the question. Like, I'm not even kidding. I fully expect if Hillary Clinton is nominated, Bill Weld is going to have an ambassadorship to, like, I don't know, maybe not somewhere great, but like somewhere.
If he does, I want an apology from all the really militant Gary Johnson people that have been kind of upset with us.
Oh man, there's apologies coming. I'm okay. I can see why people would support Gary Johnson. Like, he's done some good things. But the Bill Weld stuff is really it's really dragging this thing down, man. I mean, you guys hear Mr. Johnson's neighborhood. I mean, half the time Gary's doing well, then suddenly we bring up the Bill Weld points and he gets knocked down again.
Yeah, and I agree. Before I was saying, I think we're being too hard on him, but that doesn't mean I don't think when our guy's wrong, we should correct him and say, no, this is wrong. Maybe overall, this is why we think he'd be the best choice, but he's wrong on this, and this is why. Doesn't matter who you are, what you are, the truth wins out. Call our leaders out when they're wrong, praise them when they're right. I think that's something Lions of Liberty does really well, and I hope that never changes.
And that's something I really appreciate about libertarian politics in general, is that, you see religious Trumpsters, you see religious Hillary people. I'm with her. No matter what she does, I'm with her. I don't care who she kills, what brown people she kills. I'm with her. She's the woman. You see these people out there. I mean, and there's no criticism allowed of their own candidate. Whereas libertarians, I mean, I can pretty much say, probably, almost definitely, if I vote, it'll be for Gary Johnson, and I almost definitely will vote for him for a lot of reasons. But I'm gonna, this whole time, spend my time criticizing him when appropriate and praising him when appropriate. Like, why is that so hard for so many other people to do? They just have a religious, maybe it's because they don't pay attention until 2 months before the election, at which point all there's left is hysteria and election hype and, she's not Trump, we got to vote for her. But man, I am just so sick of the I'm with her. I'm so sick of I don't see the side of the Trump side of this, but even the way you describe it, Odie, it sounds like even the Trump side it's not because they're with Trump, it's because they're anti-Hillary. They're not with her.
Yeah, you're exactly right. This whole election is about it's not about who you want to vote for. It's about voting for the person you don't want to vote for. And it's sad. I saw an article a couple of days ago about talking about the primaries. And it's segmented out, the people that didn't vote at all, the people that don't vote, they only vote in the general, not in the primaries, then the people that voted in the primaries, and then only the people that voted for Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. And it's only 9% of the United States that has voted for Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump.
That's a crazy stat.
That's insane.
And part of that 9% includes the most votes that anyone has ever gotten in a GOP primary. So it really shows you what a small percentage of the population has a major influence on our politics. And most people don't pay attention until that part is over, which is just mind-boggling. We live in this.
So libertarians should be able to take over. It should be easy.
Yeah, it was easy. And that's what we'll say when it's all done. We all laugh and have a good time and talk about how easy it was once we figured out all we have to capture is 9% or so. I think we'll start wrapping things up, guys. I gotta edit this thing and pump it out for everybody's earbuds tomorrow. This is going to be fresh off the presses, but I want to wrap things up with one thing in our final thoughts here. And this is something I'm going to try to maybe do every time we have these roundtables and see if our positions shift at all along the way. But I want you guys to just predict, let's just do it percentage wise, even though that's not how they calculate the presidency at all. But let's just go by popular vote. If you had to decide today, you can rank them in order: Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, Gary Johnson. What's your, based on the knowledge we have at hand today, what's your prediction for those percentages? If you want to toss in a Stein figure, you can do that too.
Okay, I'm not good with numbers, but I'm going to say
you can make
that
them up, but we'll get the
I'm going to say that Trump is going to barely edge out Hillary and beat her, with probably Gary Johnson coming in around like, the actual election.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe like 3%. And
so you don't think we're hitting that 5 or that 15 that everybody's been touting?
I hope so, but I don't think so. And I bet you Jill Stein gets like 0.5% or something.
All right, so you're still taking Trump for the majority, but squeaking it out, not necessarily a landslide or anything.
Yeah.
All right, Odie, What do you think?
I'm going to say, and I'm not good at math either, so this might not add up to 100, but
the Lions of Liberty. We're not good at math, but listen to us about everything else. That's our tagline.
We'll say Trump with 48%, Clinton with 45%, Johnson with 3%, and Jill Stein with something close to 1 or under 1.
All right, yeah.
Which that does not add up to 100.
There's some other guys out there, Somebody's going to write in Mickey Mouse. Did you actually see that Harambe, the gorilla, polled like 5%? The dead gorilla got polled like 5% against Clinton and Trump.
I don't even understand. Like, if somebody read that to me, if I'm sitting through a poll and somebody read that to me, I wouldn't even. I would slap them for wasting my time.
Like, are you serious?
Through the phone. I would slap
really? I'd be like Trump, Clinton, or Harambe the gorilla. I would probably
vote for Harambe.
Harambe, of course, obviously.
Because he's dead, so he can't do any damage. But then who would be his successor? I need to know who this dead gorilla's vice president is,
Bill Weld.
Bill Weld pops out from behind Harambe. I'm running with him.
I think it was supposed to be Cecil the lion before he got shot.
The line of succession is just getting knocked down in the animal kingdom. Weld's going to swoop in either way. All right, I'm going to... Yeah, you're right. The math thing was just a bad idea from the get-go, huh? I'm going to say that Trump ends up with something like 52% of the vote or something like that. But when it comes to states, it's going to look more like a landslide because I think he's going to win like significantly more states. And I know this is completely not against popular opinion or what many political pundits think can happen. But I just think that Trump is highly underpolled. And I think a lot of anger is going to go towards Trump. And I think a lot of it's silent anger. I think there's a lot of people out there that really, really hate the way they have been screwed. And Hillary Clinton represents that. It represents the establishment that has forced them into their situation that they're in. And I think that anger is, Gary Johnson isn't capturing anger. He's capturing maybe some sensible people that see something wrong. He's not capturing anger. And sadly, it's emotion that fuels politics, and Trump is capturing that more than anybody. So I think he's going to have over 50% and win a majority of electorates. And then Clinton will have, she'll be not too far behind probably in the mid 40s somewhere. And I'll give Gary Johnson. See, even the 3% that you guys are tossing out there is 3 times more than a libertarian's ever gotten. So, I mean, even to claim even that is actually a very big change. But it does seem like there is enough people looking at him that he probably will get the most votes a libertarian's ever gotten. So I'm going to be generous. I'm going to give him the 5. I'm going to give him 5%. Although I got to admit, I'm stretching the reality that I believe exists by saying that. But I do see a lot of people on both sides actually talking about him. So I do think a lot of those people will default to I'm scared of Trump, I'm scared of Hillary, and end up on voting Democrat or Republican. But I think a significant number, and this could change if Gary gets into the debates. I think that just like he's saying, that could change the conversation. It might change it for the worse. It might send him back to 1%. I don't know, but I think I do think there is some credence to just allowing him on the debate stage will change people's perception in general. So I think that could actually help him, regardless of his actual performance in the debates. So looks like we got it unanimous. And please, anybody out there, do not take this as support for Donald Trump. This is the way we see the things going. It's the way we see things playing out. It doesn't mean it's what we want. I don't think there's a good scenario that works out here. I mean, we're either going to get Hillary or Trump. I mean, that's pretty much the facts. Those facts as they may be, we have to just kind of look at them and analyze how we think things will play out. So I want to say, sadly, we all think Donald Trump will be president, but I mean, I wouldn't feel better if we all thought Hillary would be president. So this really does seem like a race with really no good outcome. So until then, all we can do is keep pointing out, keep nitpicking the Johnson-Weld campaign, I guess, and keep trying to express the ideas of liberty in this crazy year. So, gentlemen, I appreciate you joining me again for another one of these roundtables. It's been a blast, and I hope you continue your drinking into the evening as I edit this program. Until I talk to you next time, live long
and live free.